Colin limping, battered, bruised, bleeding out of his tips. There we go, that's what it needed. And yes, that face says it all. The second one to make it.
And with both of those clips, Matt Groom, Colin Duffy, and Brooke Rabbit too have pretty much summed up exactly how I've gone through my entire life so far. You know the drill, let's start the show. Hello again and welcome back to some climbing news. Changed up the intro a little bit, it's okay. A little bit late on the world climbing series from this past week, so I thought I'd do a new series, segment, thing that I'm going to call the Top Chostastic Moments. 6 in total this time. If you know what Chos is and you know what Fantastic is, then this whole thing is going to be pretty self-explanatory. So, starting with Chostastic number 6, the French team having to resort to appeals in order to try to win literally anything. You know, I don't tend to feel bad for the French. I'm Spanish. I'm programmed to hate them as my default. But when you have two seemingly lab-grown climbing superhumans like Aurélien Berton and Mejdi Schalk, somehow both finding themselves constantly faced up against two of the greatest comp climbers of all time in Janja Garnbret and Sorata Nraku, I mean, can you blame them for appealing this?
But let's just see if he takes it or not.
Some more brushing to be done.
Chostastic moment number 5. Brilliant camera work as always. An appeal gets filed, and instead of seeing what all the fuss is about, we get this.
Claiming that Sorato might have touched the black tape on M3.
I love a good replay as much as I love split screens, and world climbing apparently seems to really hate both. Chostastic 4. Yeah, split screen. World climbing, if you have it, use it. Nothing quite like hearing the crowd and Matt screaming about Mejdi getting close on a boulder while we get to see a lovely shot of Sorato walking around.
Mejdi still climbing, still focused somehow despite that noise.
Wonderful stuff. And speaking of things that should not have been filmed, Chostastic number 3. World climbing's newest sponsor, the Chinese streaming company Bilibili, accidentally streaming the route setters forerunning the women's finals boulders, forcing a bunch of last-minute changes that ultimately resulted, I think, in boulders that were entirely too hard, maybe just a little boring. I know a lot of people seem to think that the women's final was one of the best in a while, but personally, I don't know, man, something about watching 7 different competitors slipping on the first 2 moves of W3 for 45 minutes straight just wasn't for me. Okay, probably agrees with me.
Oriane is hating the start of this thing.
Chostastic number 2, and I love a good beta break, but Ocean Brook's break on W4 again just screams, you know, we got insanely lucky with the last second changes. Nothing against the setters, of course, but oh man, could that have ended absolutely horrifically. Would have been very on brand. Chostastic number 1, Addy Bark, making finals for the first time and giving world climbing's PR a few sleepless nights, probably. Or maybe not, they don't seem to really care for some reason. Quick look through the comments on the men's finals to tell you all you probably need to know. Basically, zero anything from world climbing about the potential, let's say, inconsistency when it comes to banning certain countries, but not others. I'm gonna end up on a list for sure, god damn it. A reminder to all of you that World Climbing will be holding a meeting in which they will be discussing geopolitics this coming July. And I, for one, cannot wait for the conclusion of that meeting to leave us with a pending investigation and various top officials of World Climbing seriously concerned about the issues. That is, after all, the only thing any organization in the world has ever cared about. The issues. Kendall Jenner solving all the world's problems by giving a policeman a Pepsi. And speaking of selling out for a bottom line, me. Yeah, don't forget to like and subscribe if you've not done so yet. This video is probably going to get hit by copyright strikes from good old World Climbing for all the clips I'm about to show you. So any help is appreciated. Also, I saw the comments. You guys want me to start wearing a suit? I'll make a deal with you. We double the sub count, hit 10K, I'll start wearing a suit for all these videos. How's that sound? Anyways, let's keep things moving on to the podiums. Gonna keep this one short and sweet since it happened oh so very long ago, which is totally my fault. Hannes van Duysen with the bronze medal for the men. Annie Sanders doing the same for the women. Silver to Mejdi Schalk, of course, and Big E-Dog. Thanks, Will Bosi. I'll be taking that one from now on.
I was going to introduce you as Big E-Dog.
Big E-Dog.
And finally, and I mean honestly, No surprise there, Suratan Raku with the gold, of course, and an incredibly well-deserved first victory for Osha McKenzie, who has been one of the most consistent climbers in the circuit these past few years and who won her first gold medal ever. I said ever twice, I think. It doesn't matter. Actually, yeah, honestly, you know what? Watch. I'm going to do the whole freaking clip. This is from when she wasn't sure if she'd won and was seemingly doing everything she could do to not get her hopes up. Seemingly couldn't quite believe it, which is very fair. Didn't want to, like, you know, heartbreak moment. Doesn't matter. Watch.
Someone tell that lady that she's just won. Yeah, she might have just found out that she's won. There is the smile. And she gets up almost shyly and the crowd respond.
That's good stuff. Anyways, huge congrats to absolutely everyone. Particularly great to see Brooke back in a final. She was sorely missed last year. I didn't actually mention anything about her, but yeah, kind of hilarious faces. Hopefully we'll be seeing more of her. All we have left is more Yanya, who, if I'm not mistaken, is still wanting to focus on some outdoor stuff, bibliography, cough cough, and Natalia, who is still on the mend, as the Brits would say. Next, speaking of the Brits, to the man who has given me and you Big E-Dog.
Big ego.
More hard choss than I knew existed, and all the references to Superbad my heart could ever possibly want. Will Bosi, the gift that keeps on giving. My man just sent the Crux of Silence for the first time, becoming the third person in the world to ever do so behind Adam Ondra and Stefano Ghisolfi, and he's graded the Crux of Silence 8C plus V16. Dream come true for me. I get to talk about bouldering in a segment about one of the world's most famous sport climbs. So silence, right? Over the years, with people trying it and all that, it seems the breakdown for the route has more or less settled at an 8B intro, so 513D intro, into that, like, 45-minute long knee bar rest into the Crux boulder problem that has for a long time been considered 8CV15, into an 8B boulder that Adam once said it was more like an 8A plus, so V13 or 12, then into a 7C plus V10, and a final heartbreaker boulder that Adam once called about 6C plus or V5, but which over the years has grown to be considered more like 7B or like softish V8. Thing is, if you plug that last bit into Darth Vader, you get a 9A plus 15A route, and yet Sir William has claimed that the breakdown for the route is more like an 8B plus intro, an 8C plus boulder Crux with a final 8C section, so 8C rather than 9A plus, meaning for whatever reason this man believes the final bit to be at least 2 grades easier than what seems to be the general consensus non-consensus. There's a lot of numbers. Jesus. Hilarious enough, if you plug that into Darth Vader, the result says that Silence is actually a hard 9B+, not a 9C, which, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Adam has said in the past that he believes that within the realm of 9C, Silence might sit on the softer side of the grade. All of this to say, we don't know shit. I don't know. Grades are weird. They're especially weird at the top end of basically any scale where no one can really be sure how hard really is. That said, more importantly than anything else, Sir William has just taken a massive step towards Silence, but we can't forget that there's still a massive amount of work that he's gonna probably need to do. Like, it's one thing to be able to pull the Crux off once, it's a whole other thing to have the actual Crux, all the individual parts so dialed that he can basically do them in his sleep, and then a whole other monster to go from doing that individually to actually sending. I don't know, I give him like a week. I'm kidding. Honestly, I have no idea what his timeline could possibly look like. There's just as much or even bigger a chance that he doesn't even manage to send this season, has to go back like September? Something along those lines. I'm just trying to like chill everybody out because people are like freaking out thinking he's going to do it very soon. I don't know. I'm hoping that won't be the case. Like, he will be able to do it very soon. You know what I mean? But yeah, the whole timeline for Projecting 9C is insane. At the same time, Will is ridiculously strong, so nothing would surprise me at this point. I don't know. Let's move on. Next, we got a double send of an 8C plus 32 V points between Ben Hanna and Adam Shahar with their send of Zach Gala's Sosa. Now, I'm going to keep my opinions of Sosa to myself for now. Got a whole rankings video in the works, the script of which I am nearly finished with. So, I'm going to focus on talking about these two buccos. First and foremost, a few weeks ago, I mentioned that Adam Shahar had flashed the Globalist, and I was wrong. He did not, in fact, flash the Globalist. I was messaged in the middle of the night by an extremely distressed Austin Hoyt, who needed the world to know that his friend had, in fact, not done so. And that is a good friend right there. cannot let the world think your buddy's better than he actually is. I'm with you, Austin. I'm totally with you. In fact, I'll take it even further. Adam fucking sucks, bro. I don't know Adam at all. What I do know is he's been battling a persistent wrist injury just like me. I know what that's like. It sucks. I feel for him. We're on the same boat, except, you know, my persistent wrist injury keeps me from sending harder than 7B. Adam's lets him send 8C+, like 9 grades difference. It's no biggie. So I'm stoked he's climbing as hard as he is due to his upcoming Colorado trip. And his send of Sosa should be up on his channel by the time I finish editing this thing. So if that's the case, links in the description. Go and give him some love. Yeah, he's awesome. And then Ben Hanna, who had probably one of my favorite ever reactions to sending a boulder of all time. This right here from when he sent Grand Illusion.
Let's go, Ben. Come on.
Yes! No way! Finish it up, dog.
Come on, Ben.
Come on, dude.
Come on. Come on.
The sob mid top out.
Oh.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's, I mean, what else can you say, man? That's what it's all about. Now, Ben had been seemingly going through a bit of a mental block with Sosa when he decided to switch to Grand Illusion, which went really well for him. You know, I mean, it's fair and cool. I mean, they're like very similar problems. Ben apparently spent the winter season digging Sosa out from under a whole bunch of snow, which is pretty freaking serious dedication. Second ever 8C+ V16. Hell yeah, man. Love to see it. Congratulations to Ben. Congratulations to Adam. Let's move on. All right, next we got Buster Martin with a fantastic send of the 9B route, The Full Journey. This happened almost a month ago, more or less, but seems Buster wasn't particularly ready to share his send with the regular climbing population. And yeah, dude, friggin' Full Journey is kind of wild. It's basically right next to Café Colombia, which you might know is one of the hardest routes in the entire world, or proposed as such. Whole thing consists of doing a climb called the Journey. This is the Full Journey, not Café Colombia, which is the Journey in this case, at least in my opinion, an absolutely disgusting 30 move, super steep power endurance thing. I mean, this route's got monos, it's got 2-finger pockets, it's got a whole lot of why even bother. You basically get an okay shakeout at the chains of the Journey, and from there, you still have a V12 8A plus Crux section left with a final big slap to the top. Oh, and here's something I finally hear someone doing. Buster topped this thing out. Just, you got to the chains, kept on climbing, which is really just not something we see in sport climbing for reasons I will not ever personally understand. It was, man, yeah, it's insane stuff from a guy who basically has no sponsors, and as far as I understand it, it's just kind of a filthy casual like you and me. Unless the you watching this is actually a pro, in which case, just me. And then also completely different because this particular filthy casual can't currently climb for shit, and Buster's out there doing better than 99.9% of the people on the planet. First ever 9B, 15B, he's got 5 9A plus 15A routes under his belt so far, 4 of which he climbed in 2024, like I said. Not a half bad tick list at all. 2 different trips after his send of the Journey in 2024, 30 sessions on his first with 8 falls on the last move, then another 6-week-long attempt-a-thon before finally clipping the chains, doing what every other sport climber seems to refuse to do, get to the actual top of the thing you're climbing. Fuck yeah. I'm also kidding, but also I'm kind of not. Huge congrats to Buster on his first ever 9B. Absolutely insane effort too. Next, we're going to get real here and talk about a board lord this time. Helen Gillet, whatever. We might know from just how generally freaking strong she is. Or in the case of like the internet in general, probably more likely from the 3rd episode of Board Lords. The reason we're talking about Helen is, well, 2 weeks ago, she flashed the Altruist, a V12 8A+, and as far as I can understand, this is pretty significant in a lot of ways. First of all, I gotta talk about her record keeping, like for climbing in general. I have looked freaking far and wide, and there is currently no database for women's flashes in bouldering. I have no idea how many women have flashed 8A+. I know Brooke Rabatou has done so twice, once with Eurotrash, which is one of the 15 different starts to Grand Illusion. Seriously, I just, like, can I just, for a second, Euro Roof. Start below that is Eurotrash. Below that is Euro Roof Low. Then there's Euro Roof Low Low, which doesn't add a grade, but exists for some reason. And then finally, Grand Illusion, completely wrecking the name convention for no discernible reason. That boulder is a gigantic freaking hot mess of people not being strong enough to do the whole thing, but also wanting to make themselves feel better by leaving empty-handed. There. I said it. Anyways, Brooks' second flash, Nascondido, which she gave an 8A plus/B or 12/13, is, as far as I can tell, the hardest flash currently managed by a woman, which means Helen, Gillet, whatever, basically matched that. And I mean, look, one, she made it look ridiculously easy, and two, let me just take a second to praise the absolute goddamn monster balls, or I guess in Helen's case, probably ovaries, to see a tall-ass climb like that and have the confidence to flash. Was that sexist? I don't know. I hope not. Listen, I don't know about you, but on a limit flash go, I am way more likely to get pumped because I'll be climbing way slower. I'll be figuring things out as I go. It's hard to really execute, and the idea that I might potentially be chicken winging it when I'm however many feet off the ground, that is fucking terrifying. Seriously, flashing a problem like this probably wouldn't cross my mind ever. But that's also me, and I'm very much like Daniel Woods in that respect. I get real freaking scared up top, which makes what Helen just did all the more impressive to me. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Incredible stuff. Congratulations to Helen. Let's move on. Next, let's talk Liv Ogier, or I really hope that's how we pronounce her name. I spoke to her. I didn't ask. I should have asked. Anyways, this is a pretty freaking big one that I'm incredibly psyched about. So you might have seen Liv from a few tension climbing videos, whether in their regular social media stuff or in some of their Undeniable Vibes series, I think. I'm pretty sure she works at tension, is what I'm trying to get at. She just FA'd a route that she's called Yellow Sun and proposed 9A 514D, effectively becoming the second American woman in history to ever do so, as in get an FA at that grade. First being Michaela Kirsch with her proposal of Madlib. And I got a lot of stuff to say about this. First, I'm taking full credit, because A, I'm a narcissist, B, I'm a straight white man, and historically we do that, and C, I said, like, not 2 weeks ago that we need more women putting up rad FAs, and it's like Liv was out there listening to me and took all that to heart. She just put up an extremely rad FA. So, you know, you're welcome. Listen, the Fortress of Solitude, where Liv's route, Yellow Sun, is located, is one of the most legendary American sport climbing spots. It was the stomping grounds of Tommy Caldwell in the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's where Tommy put up two incredibly important routes to the history of American climbing. Kryptonite, which he gave 9A 514D in 1999, and which was one of the first of the grade in the USA, and then later, Flex Luthor 9A plus 15A, which had the honor of being America's hardest route from 2003 until 2008 when Sharma put up Jumbo Love 9B 15B. And Yellow Sun, well, this route is an extension of Kryptonite. So basically, Liv climbed through Kryptonite and then it kept going. Basically something similar to what Buster Martin did with the Journey and the Full Journey, except in this case, she did it as a first ascent. Now you might be wondering, if Kryptonite is 9A, why is its extension getting the same grade? Well, that's where Modern Beta does its thing. Turns out people have found some new and easier ways to do it, and people, Liv included, have decided to start downgrading Kryptonite from 14D to 14C, 9A to 8C+. It's my understanding that this came from a couple of broken holds and not the knee pad that you see in the photo here, because apparently Tommy actually FA'd Kryptonite while using one in 1999, which is kind of a wild bit of history, isn't it? Like, you know, here I am thinking knee pads are like the future is now, old man sort of situation, and there's Tommy rocking one in 99. Am I the only one that think that's kind of crazy? Basically, meaning, yeah, Yellow Sun now adds 10 plus meters of hard climbing, a hard boulder, and as a result, a full extra grade, which, given what I just said, I mean, it's probably going to stick, right? Regardless, huge, just absolutely massive congratulations to Liv Ogier, or Ogier, I really need to figure out the last names here, on her first 9A, her first ascent, if I'm not mistaken, the second first ascent at that grade by a woman being done on one of the first routes proposed at the grade in the country. Kind of parallels things nicely in my opinion. I know I just said I take full credit, but I obviously don't. This is incredible stuff and I desperately want to see way more of it. Also, so glad that she kept the Superman theme. Yellow Sun, right? Like where Superman gets his powers from. Basically, you know, where Liv pretty much just did too. Kind of dope. No Grand Illusion, thank God. Moving on. to another DC superhero, the Flash. That's a terrible goddamn joke. Jules Marchaland flashed a hard route, Elise au pays des merveilles, which is 8C/plus, so 14B/C. Biggish deal. We don't see flashes at that grade all the time in climbing, and also technically not a flash at all, so I don't know why I'm calling it that. As per the rules, Elise shares 2 meters of climbing with another route called Beyond, which Jules sent last year, so unfortunately, it's a solid first go. That's just how it be, man. That's why I personally just don't think you can really flash anything on like a kilter or a tension board. Or at least why I think flashing anything on those boards is a lot easier. You know, if you've hung on the holds, you know how to grab them, you know what to expect, you have a million times more info. It's not something that, I don't know, we need another name for it. Not the point. Elise au pays des merveilles, which is really messing with my ability to speak French. I forgot all my French. I don't know, it looks cool. Doing a route at that grade on your first go is ridiculously difficult to do. Like, nobody does that. Like, nobody does that. Jules is crazy strong. But we all knew that. So, let's move on. To Garriga, my man on an absolute tear of entire climbing areas. Like, seriously, guy just shows up somewhere new and completely destroys everything. He's like a one-man swarm of locusts. Just far less known. Probably significantly less biblical too. Look, whatever. Look at this freaking Ticklist, man. La Gallola Perfecta F8 at 9A plus 15A. Selene Permanente 9A plus/B or 15A/B. Selene 9A plus 15A. Damsel 9A plus 15A. Pelendrusca 9A 14D. Recargando Electrolitos 9A 14D. And Balandrusca 8C 14B. Like, you know, what the fuck? Dude doesn't update his 8A.NU scorecard, but given this, plus the stuff that's on climbinghistory.org and the old stuff on his 8A, he's at 16 9A pluses, 16 15As, man. For context, Stefano Ghisolfi has 19. And yeah, granted, Stefano has also climbed harder shit, but still, that's really freaking impressive. This dude isn't on your radar already, he really freaking should be. And I'm not just saying that because he's Spanish. Look at him climbing. Wait, is that a... Alex, no me jodas, ¿cómo vas a colgar un puto ventilador ahí arriba, tío? Okay, we're hanging fans from quick draws now and dabbing on them. I smell aid. You guys smell aid? I'm calling aid. Oh, God, please don't let this become a thing. I really don't want it to be a thing. There's really only one way of making it not be a thing, and that's making fun of it, calling the people doing it soft. But then I don't want to call Alex soft. I don't want to hype him up because he deserves it, and he's a good dude. See the predicament I'm in? It's a trolley problem, man. Like, save the sport, save the kid. Or save the sport, kill a kid. I don't know. What do? You know what? I'll try this. Follow Alex Garriga, but follow his social media, not his example. That seems like a good middle ground. Dope. I'm happy with that. Also, I can't not say it. Dude looks like John Frusciante, and just like how John Frusciante from the Red Hot Chili Peppers makes guitar faces, he makes climbing try-hard faces. I love it. It's awesome. Yeah, see, it's the exact same thing. It's wonderful. And finally, doing this every other week, basically, it's the Itzy Lightning Round, of course, starting with Leo Skinner with his send of Trance. One of two, I guess I'll refer to them as beloved British limestone choss piles that were sent these past 2 weeks. Big congrats to Leo, of course. It may be a choss pile, but it is still hard as hell. And that same sentiment goes to Sam Pryor, equally well loved as these bits of rock, and just as chossy too. Sam, if you don't know, is one part of the two-part duo, that was redundant, from the Careless Talk Climbing podcast, and this last week he managed to put together a boulder known as Underwave. Well done to Sam, of course, somehow climbing incredibly hard despite having a literal newborn baby and potentially being a hobbit. I too had an excuse, but it's, well, it's not important anymore. Speaking of the Careless Talk podcast, co-host Aidan Roberts is also to be featured in the Itzy Lightning Round as he put together yet another freaking boulder. This time we're talking the Singularity, a good old Squamish classic. Temps are starting to go up here all over the friggin' northern hemisphere, so as always, people are going to start heading even farther north or very south, very, very, very south, very soon. Rockland season starting? I really hope so. No, I'm not going to be a part of it. Next, Austin Purdy with his send of Dying to Live. This thing's on the Evil Backwards Cave in Lincoln Lake. Some of you might recognize it as the same cave that features boulders such as the Wheel of Volvo, Insomniac, and Distortion, both 8C plus V16. Dying to Live was FA'd by Daniel Wood circa 2012, was originally V14 AP plus until some stuff broke and ended up fading into obscurity. Quite fitting that a boulder called Dying to Live is being resuscitated, and not only that, but given an upgrade, which might just entice people to go check it out a little bit more. Next, we got Wojtek Trojan. I think I got that one. With yet another send of Power of Now Direct. Seems like the direct line's getting quite a bit more attention lately than the normal way, which is, yeah, kind of weird with this like palm press stuff. I'm not complaining, why would I? Congrats to Wojtek. It's nice to hear about him again, man. I hadn't mentioned him in a while. It's cool stuff to like see someone from like a year ago. And finally, Stefano Gisolfi using a knee pad on his shin. Yeah, no, that's right. Some weird shin pulling beta to put together Big Illusion. Second repeat of this boulder, third ascent in total after Adam Ondra's second, who of course was the guy that came up with the whole weird beta thing he calls a calf bar, which is not a word I like. I don't know why, but that just sounds like really gross. Stefano has been slowly morphing into quite the boulderer lately, and that makes me very, 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 very happy. But hey, of course, that was some climbing news. Thanks as always for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and all that good stuff as it helps me out in all kinds of different ways. Have a good weekend. Stay safe, do your thing. I will hopefully see you guys on Monday unless something crazy happens. But until then, of course, and as always, climb some stuff.